Assalamu alaikum and good evening, everyone. I'm Sundar Mubashir, Educational Counselor at HR Consultants, and I here welcome you all. HR Consultants is one of the top renowned education consultancy agency that will help the international students and students in Pakistan to go through a smooth application process when it comes to foreign education. It advises you and guides you with best suitable option that helps you build your career future. At this difficult time, HR consultant is here to help you with the smooth application process and admission process when it comes to foreign education. Now, for an international student, the first choice is to make which country to choose in English-speaking world. Here, we will be discussing about study in Australia. Australia is one of the top leading destinations in English-speaking world for international students, offering a lot more than expected. It offers friendly natives, multicultural diversity, and high quality of education, which is continuously maintained and regulated by the Australian government. Australian universities offer variety of courses and degree programs with sufficient amount of scholarships that always develops interest of international students to choose Australia as their top destination to achieve higher education. Today in this session, I will be discussing one of the prominent university, that is Edith Cowan University, which is situated in Western Australia. Today I have with me Mr. Adam Breyers from Edith Cowan University and Mr. Kamran Chuktai, who is Australia team admission officer and manager at HR Consultants. Before proceeding further, I would like you to invite you to please drop in your questions and queries in the comment section below so they can be answered accordingly. And for the smooth application process, you can drop in your documents on WhatsApp on 0322575787. Without further ado, I will hand over this session to Mr. Kamran Chuktai. Mr. Kamran, please proceed.
Thank you very much, Sanders. That was really kind of you, and you spoke very well, mashallah. And the thing is, today we coming online here has only one major concern about Pakistani students who are scared about their admissions or concerned about what is going to happen in the coming few months because of this COVID-19 thing. Students are very concerned about their admissions, visas, and further life in Australia. So as you know that we have been bringing out valuable partners from different universities online to discuss students' questions and their concerns. So I'm very, very thankful to Adam, who spared, well, some of his very, very valuable time. And of course, it's very late in the evening as well, Adam, if I'm not wrong, because of the time difference in Australia and Pakistan. So thank you. What time is it, by the way, Adam, can I ask, in Australia?
Well, at the moment, I'm actually, I work for ECU in Perth, but I'm on a little project in Melbourne at the moment. So where I am, it's 8:30 at night. But
8:30 at night.
In Perth at the moment, it's 6:30 p.m.
Okay, well, thank you very much that, you spared some time at 8:30 in the evening for Pakistani students. And students, I address this to you that whoever has any questions regarding their admission, visa, studies, fees, scholarship, accommodation, future opportunities, life in Perth, any questions, please feel free to drop your questions online. We're watching your questions and we'll be addressing them to Adam. So Adam will be giving you further highlights on what exactly you need to do, whether it's for your admission, your visa, your classes, your fees, your scholarship, your accommodation. So anyhow, I can speak here all day, as I said, but I'll ask Adam to please introduce your university, yourself a little, and then we can proceed towards the question and answer session.
Sure. Okay, so thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. I appreciate HR invited me, offered me to come on, so I snapped it up straight away, so thanks for that. So yeah, my name is Adam Breyers. I work for Edith Cowan University. Our main campus is in Perth. You can see with my white hair, I've been in industry for some time. Coming up to 25 years, and ECU is my most recent place, but it's a great university. So yeah, so I did have some slides, but I'm just going to talk to you a little bit. So we're based in Perth. Perth is in Western Australia. It's a different to other cities in Australia. The famous cities are Melbourne and Sydney. Okay, so Perth is, it's a bit smaller, but it just means that it's a much easier, it's not easier, but it's a very laid back lifestyle in Perth. It's very well known for its weather. It has probably one of the best weather in Australia. So the weather's quite mild, short during the winter time. Very friendly people that are laid back, very supportive. It's a place where if you have a problem or if you have some issues, there's usually someone to help you, especially at Edith Cowan. It's a very, very supportive place. So just a little bit about ECU. We're coming up to 30 years now in our age, so we're still quite young. We've got 3 campuses. We have 2 campuses in Perth that are very convenient to get to on public transport, and we have another one in the south of Western Australia. So across our 3 campuses, we have about 30,000 students. We have about 6,000 international students. Probably of all the universities in WA, Western Australia, our numbers have been rising the fastest in terms of international students. So what we're known for is, I guess because we're a young university, we're less sort of bogged down, held down by tradition. So we're quite agile. So we can teach things the way that we want to. So we're very well known for industry placements and internships. It's a really big sort of idea of the direction of the university to make sure that students get practical experience while they're studying. Very important. So in terms of Western Australia, we've been on lockdown in Australia, the same as you have been in Pakistan, but because of actually, WA, Perth's known to be a bit isolated, and sometimes that's seen a bit negative, but actually in this instance, it's very positive. There have been almost 0 cases of COVID now for some time because the borders are closed.
That's very good news.
Thank you. It is very good news. So we are actually starting to open up. So the restrictions are easing. Groups of 20 now can meet. Places of worship, restaurants, swimming pools, they're all starting to open up again now. So I would say that Perth, along with maybe other places, possibly South Australia, maybe Queensland, we're the real front runner at the moment in Australia. Where I am at the moment, my temporary base in Melbourne, we're just coming out of restrictions now. Maybe 5 people can visit a house. Apparently, like restaurants and so forth are opening from the 1st of June. So Perth is definitely ahead of other places in Australia. And one thing that might be of interest is that if you do some research, you'll see that even the government, the Australian government, are saying that Western Australia, which is the state which Perth is in, is probably the best placed of all the states in Australia to rebound the quickest economically after this time of close down. The reason being is Western Australia is very rich in like iron ore and also in gold. These are very much in demand now. Iron ore, China, China, Pakistan has a very close relationship with China. China is trying to kickstart their economy, so they're doing infrastructure development, and therefore they use our iron ore. The other thing is gold. Obviously, this unstable time, gold is very much in demand. We have a very strong agriculture industry. Okay, so obviously very important food supply. We're also very rich in natural gas, so we'll see how that one goes as well. But so the economy in WA, it has been a bit flat for a number of years, but it's definitely it's seen very positively at the moment to rebound quickly. So look, I'm going to try and cover a few things. So, and then we'll do the Q&A. But yes, look, at the moment the borders are closed. The international borders are closed. The domestic borders are closed. So if I'm going to be in Melbourne for a little bit, but say I want to go back to Perth, I could go back, but I would have to isolate for 2 weeks. Okay, so even like a local person coming back into Perth. So what they're saying is that when the restrictions ease, probably one of the last things to ease will be the domestic borders, so people can start travelling around in Australia. So for you offshore, what that means is most likely if you had interest to commence in semester 2, and for our semester 2, which is coming up, which is July, end of July, our next semester, there will be face-to-face classes. We are moving back to face-to-face. So for the people that are actually in Western Australia and in Perth, they'll be, they'll have the option, but the face-to-face classes. So we're sort of going back to normal. But unfortunately, for if you're offshore and you want to commence in second semester, then you would need to commence online. Okay, so that's how.
That was my first question. Sorry to hold you there, Adam.
Sure.
Very important question I needed to address, because every viewer is watching this session or sending me a message right here. They're asking me that, whether they have to start online or whether they should wait and get it deferred to their trimester 1. So that would be my question to you.
Well, look, it's entirely up to the student. Okay, so it's which way to go. It really depends, but we will have the option. We've been processing applications for semester 2 as normal. So we've been doing it as normal. We've been taking payments as well. We've been issuing COEs. And to my knowledge, I just saw actually, I believe that visas are being issued, from what I can understand as well.
We heard that news too. Yeah, we heard that news too, that visas are being issued. So
it's sort of like we're in a very, I guess, unstable time. We're trying to take a business as usual approach.
Okay.
I'm sure, I know there's lots of offers on the market now. So we're still unfortunately, it's a sort of a sudden change. We're still having sort of meetings and discussions at the top level at ECU. But so what we are hoping is that what we think will happen is that you can commence online, but we're hoping that we'll be able to offer a bursary additional to any other scholarships that we might offer you. So
yes, that's important. That's important for Pakistani students to understand whether if they're studying online or if they are deferring their admissions.
Sure.
What support are they getting from Edith Cowan?
So look, from an online study point of view, we especially because we had to go. Look, we've been already teaching online because we had that in place, because especially with the domestic students in Australia, like they work. Okay, so we've got a lot of domestic students that don't come on campus, so they do online. Also, for the students that can't come on campus, most of the lectures are actually recorded. So we already have a culture of people that they don't actually, because people, with their part-time work, 20 hours per week, it might be that it's not convenient to come into a lecture on any given day. So we record all our lectures. So we already have a culture of people working remotely, even from Perth, which has been happening now for some time. So I look, in my opinion, I've got, I have students this semester, like from other places like Egypt. For some reasons, they had paid up, they had got their COE, but they couldn't make it due to certain reasons. And they've been studying online and it's been absolutely fine. So it is possible. But I think the most important thing, I think from students from Pakistan, is the fee. So, as I was just saying, so what we are looking to do, and it's really important information I'm giving about ECU, you must check in back with HR in the coming weeks, because we're still, as I said, we're still discussing it. We should definitely have an outcome by the end of May, which is 2 weeks. So what we're looking to do is offering a bursary. A bursary means we're offering, it would be an additional discount to any other scholarships that we're offering for those that will study, that are looking to study online. So my advice is, if you're interested in ECU, you could make an application for semester 2. You can even put one in now. Okay, so and then maybe just wait and see what we offer and see whether it's of interest to you. Okay, because if what we offer is of interest to you, it will be like, say we've made an offer, we'll amend the offer to say what we're offering if we're making like a bursary, and just see. But what we're looking to do is, the idea is that maybe, looking to do possibly 2 subjects with an additional discount on top of any other discounts that you may have.
How much is the discount? How much is the discount?
We haven't, look, as I said, because this, I know some universities in Australia have moved quicker on this, and good on them. I think it's great. But we just, because these are sort of sudden changes, it's still being discussed. So I can't say exactly what it is, but that's what, it's important that students will check back. So as I was saying to Sundar.
That's fine. Okay. I have a relevant question here. That will be on top of the bursary you offer, because I believe that there's a slide which I can share in the end with my students, that you offer certain bursary, certain scholarships for different courses.
Yeah, so the student, like if a student applies to ECU, whatever scholarship they're eligible for, and we do have different scholarships available. Like we do have, for undergraduate, we have merit scholarship. For Masters of Engineering, we have a Dean's scholarship of 10%. So, if a student is eligible for scholarship, that would be on the letter of offer for semester 2. What I'm talking about, the bursary, would be additional. It would be additional.
Of course, that will be on the time of the acceptance, I believe.
Well, no, it will be, look, once we've got a solution, yes, it will be, but the student should know about it before they accept. Or in the case where they may have accepted for semester 2, and they paid their money, then any bursary it would become like a credit in their account. Because if you've paid money, as you study, the money comes out of the account that you have. So you only use like what the fee is for that particular subject, and then you have credits, if that makes sense.
Okay. And will that be offered? Yeah, go ahead, Sundar. Ask the question.
Adam, I have a question here. We have this question online, that if a student commences online classes and suddenly he changes his decision and requests for a deferral, so is there any refund policy that you're offering, or any a transfer of the fees regarding this situation?
Look, again, see, like I said, so we're still we're very aware of this, and we're having these discussions. So that's one scenario. Another scenario, which I'm sure is in people's minds, is what happens if they pay their fees, because they would need to pay. They're going to do online study, they still need to pay. What the deposit might be, again, we'll have to see in 2 weeks. All these things are being discussed. But it might be they pay, they commence their online study, maybe 2 subjects, but they pay a deposit. And then they go to when it comes the right time and the borders start to open, and they apply for their visa, and their visa is rejected. What happens then? So I'm sort of answering probably another question that's going to come up. So again,
this was the question I had in my mind.
I'm sure, yeah. So when we release information about the bursary, so it's a bit like I'm talking about ahead of time. But look, I guess a good thing about what I'm saying is that, so there's, in some ways the pressure's off a little bit, because, we know there's always the pressure of accepting the offer and getting the COE and getting in for the visa and how long the visa is going to take. With the online study, that's not going to be an issue. So I would say, if for students, it's a bit different to how it normally is. So you can just actually, you can wait a little bit. Obviously, you can't wait too much. It might be that students have already decided, but we think that activity should pick up in June. So when we release information about our additional bursary that I mentioned for online study, we'll also what we will do at exactly the same time as we release the conditions as well. Okay, so that's why I say watch this space. Check in with HR again in a couple of weeks. But I just wanted to maybe talk about what we've got in mind, and also to make people aware in the marketplace that we understand. We definitely understand what the pressures are, what the doubts are. We understand. So hopefully
these are the ones.
we'll take that in mind. We'll make our offer, and then look. Then it's up. Then it's purely you're the customer. So it really is. It's true.
Yeah, that's right. That's very kind of you. Thank you that you have given leverage to students. But again, we being in the middle, we being the representatives of Edith ground and supporting students, we have a lot of responsibility to look after as well. Now, in concern about these international students, for postgraduate students, a student has to study for a certain period of time to be qualified for a post-study work right.
Sure.
And I believe that in Perth, it's for 3 years instead of Sydney, Melbourne, which is of 2 years post-study work.
Correct. Yeah, because we're regional.
So if a student is opting for a 3 years post-study work right in Perth while studying in Edith Cowan, if that student wishes to start their classes online for semester 2, 2020,
okay.
Time be counted in their stay in Australia?
Okay. Now this one, I wish I could say, this one is not the senior executive of ECU. This is the Australian government.
It's the government, that's right, yeah.
Okay, but look, again, you'll know, and I'm sure people there know, because I know everyone's doing a lot of research, that I know that Canada has announced that online study will count towards the study required to get post-study work visa to be eligible. I believe New Zealand has also said something. Am I right? Have you heard anything from New Zealand? I just heard some news. I'm not sure. Have you heard about New Zealand at all?
No.
No. Okay. So I think there's some discussion. So the industry. Okay. In a nutshell, international students are vitally important for Australia. Okay, vitally important. So I would say that the Australian government is having a look. Like Canada is a big competitor for Australia. So I would say that the government is looking very closely at what's happening. And I wouldn't be surprised again if we have an announcement soon about that. But look, at the moment, we in industry, our feeling is that it will count, because why not? I have students, when the COVID time came, I've had students that left Australia, back maybe 6 weeks ago. They're back in their countries, like maybe in Oman. I know I've got students from Oman. They're studying online at the moment. They're still enrolled. The government's got absolutely no idea whether they're in Australia or not. As far as they're concerned, at some stage they'll come back on again. I think there's absolutely, unless they're looking at the passport, the entry and exit data on the passports, I can't see any issue, but it's a really important thing. So again, look, I think, you just have to wait, but I do believe there'll be an announcement in the not so distant future from the government about.
That's fine. Thank you very much. Right. Well, I have a few questions which I'll be addressing later on as well, but as time is a luxury we don't have. We need to make sure that we stay to the point to the students.
Sure.
So Pakistani students are very concerned about their visas and their admissions in these COVID-19 pandemic days. But I must say one thing that HR and Edith Cowan University, we're working our best to make sure that these students do not waste any time. Now, for those students who have been given progression to their intermediate levels, as you know, the A-level students, they have been given their progression for passing grades. Are they eligible for admission for online classes? Because these students do not need to worry about their timing. Are you giving them some extra scholarship so they can start the online classes? That is my last question, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay, so just to clarify, these are students that have done their A-levels. Have they actually? But wasn't it this year? Have the A-level examinations? Are they going to happen? Because I heard they were all being postponed.
No, they're not going to happen. They will be given letters from their school for passing grades on the basis of performances. So these students are concerned about their admissions.
Sure. Okay. Now that one, in terms of the bursary for online study and so forth, I feel reasonably confident that we'll know soon. That one, I can't answer. I haven't had advice. So yeah, so I do look. I mean, but at the very worst, as I mentioned, like we do have pathways. So look, we can be, it might be because we have our, as you would know, we have our pathway college, which is Edith Cowan College, which is connected with Edith Cowan University. They're sort of side by side physically. So look, I'm sure that Edith Cowan College, because they're private, even though it's a joint venture. So they're very agile and they can make decisions a bit different to how the university does. And we're not sort of bogged down with some administration and bureaucracy as much as universities. So I believe that we could come up with pathway solutions for those students whereby they wouldn't be sort of punished time-wise, okay? So I do believe so. Again, they'd be case by case. And for students that come through ECC, I'm not sure at the moment, they're still charging, they haven't changed their fee structure. They may, I'm not sure. At the moment, they haven't. But those that did do, so look, at some stage they'll come on shore and we would give them a follow-through scholarship of 20%. So I believe that we would have options. Whether there would be some sort of bursary for the online component, I'm not sure because of Edith Cowan College, but I believe that there wouldn't be a time sort of punishment. I believe that we could make it in similar time.
That's fine. Thank you very much for your time, Adam. I must say one last thing in the end that, we, as well as yourself, are very much concerned about our students who are concerned about their future degree. So everyone at our end is trying to make sure that our students are facilitated. And thank you very much once again, Adam. You have given us your time at 8:30 in the night, but it's probably 9 p.m. there now. So thank you very much once again. Students, we are available online. Any concerns, any questions, any worries, you know where to find us. We have our numbers here, even on the screens. That's 03225757 Yes, there's one thing very important. You guys need to make sure you send in your applications on time, because by the time the lockdown is over, by the time the visas have started reissuing, you have your admissions sorted, you have your scholarship sorted. As Adam said that, the bursaries, the additional bursaries will be mentioned on your acceptances. So send in your applications. It's not going to cost you anything. Save your places. And then by the time the lockdown is over, you guys can apply for visas and can travel to Australia. Over to you, Sanders. Any one last words, please, go ahead. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Adam, and thank you, Mr. Kamran. Adam, before leaving this session, I want you to please share your message with our students regarding admissions and about ECU. Please share your message so that we can further proceed with the closing of the session.
Okay, so all right, my final words are, it has been a big disruption all over the world, but if you have a desire to study in Australia, sure, look, we're suffering a bit economically as well, but we will come back, okay? The underlying principles here are very good. So So look, my advice is to, if you, like they said, it has been said, you can make application is free. So put in an application, maybe see what comes up, see at ECU, like I said, probably hopefully within a couple of weeks, we should have some outcomes, See what comes up. It might be that it might be attractive. If not, you can always defer you can defer. If it's not the right time, you're still keen on us, you can defer to another semester. We may have a summer semester this year. We may, for the first time, have a summer semester starting in November. Okay, that's something that we're also considering. If not, February next year. And look, one thing that the government, I'm sure at HR and there in Pakistan, you will have seen that the government's already talking about making special exemptions for international students to come into Australia because it's so important. So I'd be very surprised come February next year that people will be able to come. But I still think, in my opinion, if you believe that our offer is attractive when it comes through for second semester, I don't think there's no harm in commencing online, although you just have to, there's going to be some doubts and some risks. We'll have to see what our refund policy, when it comes out, but it's just something to think about.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Adam. And for the viewers and our students watching this session, this is the best opportunity. You can apply in Edith Cowan University in Australia. You can avail a scholarship from 10% to up to 25% for both undergraduate and postgraduate studies. You can drop in your documents on WhatsApp on 0322575787. You can also drop in your queries in the comment section so that they can be answered. But for the smooth application process, the numbers are shared on the screen, and I will repeat it again, 0322575787. Thank you so much, Mr. Adam, and thank you, Mr. Kamran, for this wonderful session. And I hope we will be we will be having more students for Edith Cowan University. So just closing off and signing out from this session. Thank you and goodbye.